Yeah, I feel like we saw that in New York, but I think the fans here are so grateful to Carmelo because of the fact that he came and he accepted that challenge. He tried his
Right.
best, and you rarely see guys try to do that, to come to the Mecca and to try to take on that huge burden, that challenge. I think, he deserves a lot more respect than what he gets credit for, just to try to take that challenge on.
Yeah, he's the one and only superstar that wanted to go to New York. You know what I mean? Other guys were kind of past their prime, got traded to New York while he was there. He was he forced to trade to New York because that's where he wanted to be. Then he re-signed with New York in the free agency because that's where he wanted to be. But Melo's a tough kid. Like, I guess he's not a kid anymore, but he came from a place where he had to be tough in order to survive, just to get to Syracuse and then on to the NBA. So it's one of those things where he didn't run from challenges. It's just unfortunate that nobody else in the era that he played wanted to come to New York and deal with that media pressure and deal with playing in the quote unquote shot of Melo to try to help him win a championship.
Being around the NBA for so long as you've been, at that time, why do you think people were, and still till this day, why do you think people are so reluctant to take on that challenge of the Mecca and MSG and New York?
Yeah, I think it's always been that way, to be honest, which I think, just back in the day, people felt like you had to be in New York, had to be in Chicago or LA to be a superstar around the world, a global superstar. You don't have to be that now. You just have to be on social media. So, people are looking at it now. Why have to deal with the regular media each and every day the way the New York media can be, meaning very harsh at times if you have a bad game or a bad week, when I can go to Oklahoma City or Memphis or wherever it may be and not have the pressure of the media that they, the backlash of the media, I should say, and still get an opportunity to become a superstar and still get the same amount of money. And then there's less taxes. These guys are savvy now when it comes to money. They don't want to have to pay more taxes than they need to. So just a lot of different factors of why people don't want to take that New York challenge. And, it could be tough to go in New York and try to win.
But from a superstar perspective, and like you come from that era, you come from that, we breed toughness. We want to compete, we want to play hard. Like, we don't back down to anything. Wouldn't you love to see somebody take that challenge on from a superstar perspective? Like, there's guys that we've seen pass it up in free agency, especially like LeBron James. And then obviously recently with Kyrie and KD, like, they came to Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's not, the Knicks. It's not New York City. So from that perspective, shouldn't a superstar want that challenge? Shouldn't he feed off of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in theory it makes sense, for old school people to say that. But I mean, the game has changed. I mean, if you going to New York by yourself and then three other guys go to Brooklyn and you're getting your doors beat in every night, that's no fun. I mean, what are we all comparing these guys for? What are people criticizing Melo for? What are people criticizing Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, all those guys? Because they didn't win a ring. I mean, you can't be considered one of the, top 10 players in the world, of all time, if you don't win a ring. So you got to link up now. If the other guys are linking up, you got to link up with a boy that you enjoy playing with, that you think you're going to enjoy playing with, enjoy being around every day, and try to win a ring. Because that's what everybody is comparing you to. Everybody say now the stats are kind of gaudy and don't matter because everybody's jacking up threes. It's all about ring count. People will not say LeBron's better than Jordan at this point because he doesn't have enough rings. So that's just the way the game is right now.
But for you personally, how much weight do you hold in regards to a title where, like KD?
Title's a title, bro.
Title's a title?
Because it's hard. Even the super teams, not all the super teams win the title. You know what I mean? So, if you win that title, to be honest with you, I don't give a damn how you do it, especially because I don't have one. You go do it by any means necessary, to be honest with you. And if you have to load up against everybody, when you was a kid, you played in a park, you got the best talent because you wanted to win. You didn't try to go 1 against 5 and so you can shoot all the balls or you could be the headline on that team. You got the best team, 5 guys out there and try to run the court for the entire day. So there's really no difference in what these guys are doing right now. It's just people from the old school era where you couldn't move around and players didn't have the power that they have now are really upset about that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear the different perspectives because I mean, just as a fan watching it, it's just tough to see, you know, three of the top, if you want to call it, arguably three of the top five best offensive talents in the league right now on the same squad. It's the deck is extremely stacked. It's really tough for any of these teams to really make a run. I mean, you got AD and LeBron. Hopefully they're back healthy. But I mean, for you right now, you're coaching Cleveland. How frustrating is that as a coach to have to go up and game plan against a team? Like, it's overwhelming, I would think.
So you're a Knicks fan, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How would you feel if those three guys were with the Knicks? How would you feel?
I would love it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Only people complaining because they don't have those three guys.
Right.
And when it comes to us game planning, I mean, don't get me wrong, those three guys are special, right? So it's tough to game plan, but it's tough to game plan against anybody in the NBA. There's somebody that can always score and put 50 on you each and every night. Now, now there is only one ball, so all of them can't score 50 at the same time. So, but you just do go out there and study them, see what the weaknesses are as a team, and see if you can find that chink in their armor and exploit it. And then maybe you win those games. And then the playoffs is going to be tougher. You know, we understand that, but anything worth having is worth working for. And if you beat Brooklyn in the playoffs, I mean, how satisfying and gratifying is that to you and your fans? And you'll never, people in the city that you work for will never forget you if you beat a Brooklyn team in the playoffs. And you'll never forget that as a coach and as a player that you beat Brooklyn in the playoffs. So
right.
It's just a challenge. And I mean, the NBA is full of challenges. You just got to accept them and see what happens. Because one day, if you stay in here long enough, you may end up with those three guys like that, and you surely won't be complaining.
Right. Yeah. No. So, I mean, like we were just saying, though, if one of these teams were to beat Brooklyn, in my eyes, that there's accomplishments and titles are titles, like you said. But if Philly goes up and now they beat, Brooklyn, that title is a tougher one to win. Like they have more of an uphill climb than Brooklyn does with their talent compared, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I mean, you got to look at it. If Philly could beat Brooklyn and still not win the title, but if Philly beats Brooklyn, that means Brooklyn had an uphill battle because they didn't get it done. You know what I mean? If the Lakers beat Brooklyn, they had an uphill battle because they didn't get it done. You know what I mean? Milwaukee could beat them. You know what I mean? It's, several teams that still can beat Brooklyn. I mean, it's Brooklyn, they have three players, and the rest of the guys you got to figure out. I mean, they got really good role players, but they are beatable. Everybody in this league is beatable. And it's always a hard path to win a championship. There's always, I mean, other than maybe the Jordan Bulls team, there's 71 or 70 and 12 team, 72 and 10 team, whatever it was, they kind of ran through everybody. But that's just part of it. I mean, they're going to be uphill battles in the playoffs regardless of how good your talent is.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to have the ball bounce your way a couple of times in play.
Oh, for sure. You got to get lucky to win a championship, for sure.
There's just so many different, instances where you got to have luck also on your side to be able to still win a title.
Yep.
Now with Brooklyn, their health is a little bit of a factor. If you were coaching that team or you're coaching the NBA for a while now, is chemistry a concern and getting those guys on the same page, playing enough? Is that something that, is alarming to see?
I don't think it's alarming, but it's definitely a concern. I do think they have enough talent to figure it out. Those three guys really like each other. I think more of the chemistry part of basketball is when guys don't like each other. You got to figure out how to get guys to like each other. But those three guys seem to love each other, actually, and spend a lot of time with each other. So that chemistry part of it, I think they will be okay because the talent is so great. I mean, they all can do so many good things on the offensive end. They can make other guys better, but they can go get it on their own too. So a lot of times when you got guys like that, they don't have a 5-man that needs touches. Like Joel Embiid would need a touch, or the Joker in Denver would need a touch. So they would have to figure that out. Now they can just get it and go. And, okay, your turn, James. No, your turn, Kyrie. No, we forgot Durant. It's your turn. So it's one of those things that, offensively they will be great. You got to worry about defensive system-wise. But if they're studying it like they're like most great guys in this league do, I think they'll be okay.
Do you see a weakness there?
Who knows? I mean, I think the weakness would be that they haven't done it together before. I mean, that's it. I mean, you got to figure out how we can do it together as a unit. The coaching staff is new, and they got several new players. So that would be the weakness. Other than that, basketball wise, they got a lot of talent. Even on the coach, I mean, the coaches are very talented. I mean, they know how to really coach. So, Coach Nash may be inexperienced, but he got a lot of guys on that bench that's been through the wars. A couple guys have been head coaches before, so they got talent there too.